connecting with nature, with love and devotion. A trusting companion built high on emotion. A good horse and rider, they're patiently trained. Together they're one, to let go of the reins. Let's ride some horses, but remember they need a leader to trust in, to help them succeed. Let's ride some horses, that look in their eye. So saddle me up and let's go for a ride.
Gotta meet my smiling dog Patch. Smile for him, Patch. There it is. Good boy.
Whoa, let's ride some horses, that look in their eye. So saddle me up and let's go for a ride.
Our horses work hard for us every day, so nutrition is a major concern. I've relied on Purina horse feed products for over 12 years. Purina is always on the leading edge of research and nutrition innovation, and with their feed guard system, I know I can rely on the safety and quality of their products from coast to coast. No matter what you do with your horse, Purina has the right product for you. Visit horse.purinamills.com or find them on Facebook for more information. Welcome to this week's episode of Riding Horses. I'm Kerry Kuhn. Last week we were talking about the use of the round pen. This week we're going to move just outside to the round pen, and we're going to start talking about building or our introduction to a feel, to a soft feel, through online groundwork. Now what we tried to accomplish in that show in the round pen was to basically just get some fluid forward motion using the fence. Everything changes, guys, when we come outside that round pen, okay? This today is going to be my first introduction with this filly, because I've got the halter and the lead rope tied to her to this soft feel that I'm talking about. She didn't have a clue when we were moving her around in that round pen what feel was, because I didn't have anything tied to her. That again is a benefit of the round pen, but when we come outside that round pen, everything changes, because now she doesn't have the fence to lean on. What is she going to lean on? She's going to lean on this lead rope. I need to understand that if all I've got is one line tied to my horse, obviously it's tied to this end, snapped on my halter. But what I've got to understand is a horse that hasn't been worked with very much. Again, we're using the same filly we did last week. I've got the saddle on her again because she hadn't been saddled but 3 times now, so there's no reason she can't get used to that while we're working on this soft feel today. But we haven't done any groundwork with her at all. She's halter broke. She's been led around and ponied some, but this concept's going to be totally new to her. So she's going to show, hopefully, a good example of what horses naturally are in the beginning. Okay, again, my lead rope is snapped here. Okay, my goal is to be able to do this with the nose as we go through today's exercises. But here's what happens, guys. When you start to move this piece of your horse and the body is still stiff all the way down his back, then whatever you do with the nose influences the horse's hip. Okay, and if we understand the concept of my horse's hip is his accelerator, if he's not driving himself forward with his hindquarters, then he's going to lose his forward motion. Well, every time I tip the nose or ask the horse's nose to give to me and get soft, chances are, because she's going to be stiff, as the nose comes to me, that stiffness in her body is going to swing the hip out, take all the drive away from her, and there she is either slowing down or she's stopped. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of work to get her moving. It's going to be a lot of work to encourage her to keep moving, because everything I'm trying to do with this halter, through influencing where the nose is to get the body to turn loose, influences the hip. That's initially what I'm after. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get her moving around here just to give you guys an idea of how that hip drives my horse forward. Again, she doesn't have much idea here how to move forward, so I'm not going to put much pressure on her. I want you guys to just see right here as she's going around the concept that I was just talking about. The hip is going to drive her forward. Now that we're outside the round pen, she doesn't have the fence to lean on, so what's she leaning on? She's leaning on the lead rope between my hand and the halter. Now I'm not going to do anything right here to encourage her to get off of it yet. I want you guys to see her leaning on it. Now again, this is just at a walk. As I speed this horse up and she gains more life, then what's going to happen is she's going to lean on this lead rope more and more the faster she goes. So her feet are moving a little bit faster than mine, so it's causing her to find the end of that lead rope, and it's tipping the nose to me a little bit. Now watch what happens when I do draw the nose to me. If I draw the nose to me there to encourage her to soften, watch that hip swing out. See where the hip went right there? All I was trying to do was draw that lead rope to me to get her to not lean on me, okay? I've got to say to my horse, don't just lean on the end of that lead rope. You need to learn to give to it and not be pulling me around. So I'm drawing on that, but again, you saw where the hindquarters went. If you don't understand that concept and you move outside your round pen and you come out here and try to build a feel in your horse through some groundwork just by sending him left or sending him right, guys, you're going to be standing out here scratching your head a lot trying to figure out, how does this work? Okay, think about this. Again, you draw the nose to you. We'll get her moving here. I'm going to draw the nose to me just to say soften up. Now that time she did pretty good. She kept going. That time she didn't. That time she stopped. She wants to flow this way. She's really pulling on me here. I'm just going to draw her to me a little bit, and you see where the hip went. If all I did was come out here and spend 20 or 30 minutes trying to gather my thoughts and see how big an influence that is. We're traveling all over the country doing clinics, trying to help people build a soft feel in their horse. On the ground is the best place to start. In the round pen, loose, that's a great place to start, but eventually I got to build to something that's going to give me a chance to introduce my horse to feel. So let's remember, let's get this really deep inside there, that whatever I do with the nose in the beginning when my horse is stiff, it's going to influence the hip. And this concept right here is going to lead us into our exercises through this episode to help build a softer feel in this horse and still have the same fluid forward motion we had in the round pen. So stay tuned. We'll be right back and get started with those exercises.
Riding horses each day is a horse lover's dream.
We've been riding Csi Saddle Pads for close to 12 years. This custom pad was made for us in 2005, and with probably close to 10,000 hours of use on it, you can clearly see how well they hold up. With their flex plate designed to disperse uneven saddle pressure and their interchangeable Velcro system, these saddle pads will fit any horse and offer superb protection. So if you're serious about keeping your horse sound and comfortable, you need to let Csi Saddle Pads have your horse's back. If you're passionate about riding horses like we are, your joints are gonna pay the price. We use the products at High Logic to protect us and keep us going. Highland Pro for our horses, Hyaflex for our dog, and Synthovial 7 for me and my family. Welcome back to our show today, folks. The concept of building a soft feel in your horse, online groundwork. This is the first time we've come outside the round pen. We've tied a halter and a lead rope to this horse, and now I'm going to start to ask for fluid forward motion like I had in the round pen that flowed so smoothly, and now come out here and try to build the same thing where I don't have a fence to lean on. All I have for my horse to lean on is this. Well, we started out this episode talking about if all you have is one line and you send your horse out and he's going around you, you pick up on that lead rope from a lateral position and it draws the nose to you, then if that horse still has stiffness through her body, what's going to happen is as the nose comes to you, the hip's going to swing away. So I have to make sure that I understand that concept, because as we start to figure out how to use this lead rope, we're really going to be influenced by every time we draw on the horse's nose, our horse might lose his forward motion. Now let's think about this, the idea of being able to bend my horse's nose around here. This is a great example right here of all I'm trying to do is give me her nose, but look what it's causing the hip to do. So you can see how stiff she is. All I'm trying to do is bring the nose to the right, and the hip has to move to the left because she doesn't know how to turn loose of that resistance yet. Okay, that's a great example of what I'm talking about. When I draw the nose, it influences the hip. Now as she gets softer, she'll start to be able to give me that nose a little bit, so to speak, like this. So now she's got some bend in her body and her hip's not swinging out. As soon as that hip swings out, she's going to lose her forward drive, and it's going to cause her to do one of two things. She's either going to slow down or she's going to stop. Okay? And as I'm trying to build this soft feel here, I want to be able to get her where she can just flow around me. So I'm thinking, how do I get my horse to bend and give me that nose without influencing this so much? We're using one of our new Kerry Kuhn halters, training halters, and what I've done is I've eliminated the Theodore knot down here to give this ring, all three of these rings, have the freedom to slide from one side or the other. And what I've noticed is, as I get out here and I make a lateral pull on this horse, as that ring slides up, what I've seen from horse to horse as we've tried to use this is these horses can give me their face a little bit easier now without being so stiff. You know, that ring slides up, basically it kind of acts like a side pull. So I'm getting a more direct pull from the pressure on my lead rope to the side, which just helps these horses soften without being such an influence to what the hip's doing, okay? So this is a great tool for us to use as we start this process. 14-foot lead rope, 12-foot lead rope. I've got to make sure I've got enough rope to now understand how I'm going to hold it and how I'm going to use it. Now when I'm sitting on my horse and I'm holding my reins will leave my hands, if I'm riding two-handed, from my pinky and go to the bit. So I'm going to learn to operate my lead rope the same way, guys. The lead rope's going to leave from my pinky to go to the halter, and it's going to leave from my pinky to go to the end of the lead, the little popper down there. As I swing my lead rope, I'm going to swing it in this manner. I'm always going to swing it so if I made contact on my horse, I'd be coming down instead of up. But if I had to say which finger is the most important for me to learn how to swing this rope like this, it's my pinky. Now the hand that's holding the part of the lead rope that's going to the horse, there again, I want my pinky finger to be the last finger to touch that lead rope as it goes to that horse. That's my most important finger right there to teach feel, okay? So as I send my horse out, I'm going to be holding my lead rope like this. I'm going to be holding this up where I could swing it like this, okay? If I switch hands, I want to be able to switch smoothly and fluidly to where I could change sides pretty quick and always end up in the same position. Basically, I've just got that lead rope looped over my thumbs. I'm going to come up here and grab there, and I'm right back to looped over my thumbs, only I've switched hands. So now I am here, I'm ready to swing here. But guys, the idea of this right here, yeah, I don't even have my pinkies on it right now, I'm just holding it. But when I go to use it, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there swinging. I'm talking about dealing with a horse that might weigh 1,000 pounds or more. And what I'm trying to teach people is the most important finger in your hand to teach feel is the smallest, weakest one you've got, okay? That right there alone gets me in a frame of mind to understand it's not about trying to match my horse strength for strength. My pinky finger is the one that means the most to me, okay? Because that's the last finger to touch the lead rope when it goes to the horse. And that's the finger that controls the end of my lead rope, the popper, as I bring life up and ask my horse to either go left or go right. So let's make sure we spend time working with this lead rope, getting our hands in the right position so we can move on, and these exercises will flow as smoothly as they're designed to. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Riding horses each day is a horse lover's dream.
When I hook up my trailer, I don't need any help. I use an easy latch and do it all from the ground. I don't climb in my pickup bed. I don't bang my head or tear my new jeans. With the easy latch, I can lock or unlock the coupler, hook the chains, and load my horse, all from the ground. Once you have tried an easy latch, you will never be without one. Check it out at easylatch.com for this and other trailer accessories.
The Kerry Kuhn training halter is designed to eliminate the rolling effect from a lateral pull to help keep your halter in place at all times. With sliding rings to ride with, it works with the rider to pinpoint pressure where it will help the most. Welcome back to Riding Horses. If you're just tuning in, what we're talking about today is our step outside the round pen, our introduction to a soft feel through online groundwork. We've got a halter and a lead rope tied on our horse today, and we're outside the round pen, so there's no fence for our horse to lean on. We talked about in the first segment of the show how once you come outside that round pen and you've got your horse on the end of that lead rope and you send her out there to go in maybe a circle to the left or a circle to the right, whatever you do with this horse's nose in the beginning is going to influence the hip because of the natural resistance that this horse carries in the beginning. As far as our lead rope is concerned, in segment 2 of this episode, we were talking about how we want to hold this lead rope. Okay, we want to make sure that we're using our pinky fingers to build feel in this finger. This is the most important finger in our hand. So how we hold this lead rope is extremely important as we start to understand how we're going to motivate her to get her moving. In this segment, I want to talk about and focus on how I apply pressure. Now let's give ourselves a couple options here. Obviously, steady pressure is something we're all familiar with. And I say that because I've been traveling all over this country watching people hold steady pressure way longer than they should. What's steady pressure look like? If I'm just pulling on this lead rope, now for her to demonstrate, I want her to stay put. So I'm going to hold her there with my left hand, but you see I'm holding steady pressure here with my right hand. Okay, the concept of steady pressure, the idea is right, but some of these horses have been leaning on us long enough, and some of you folks own these horses, they've been leaning on this steady pressure long enough that there's not much motivation, there's not much encouragement there for a horse to get off that pressure. So what's my next option? My next option is, here's my steady pressure. Now if you look at my fingers, I'm going to get some rhythm flowing here through my fingers, where it's like I'm just squeezing that lead rope a little bit. Okay, you can kind of see, I'll move that snap over here on this side. As I'm squeezing my fingers a little bit, you can see that rhythm travel down that lead rope because you can see that snap moving up and down. Okay, what I want to do is I want to figure out a way to motivate my horse, if he's ignoring the steady pressure, to help him get off of that. Okay, and that rhythm sometimes is enough. You know, if you've ever gone to a massage therapist, what do they do when they're trying to work out the tightness and the stiffness in your muscles, maybe in your back? They're massaging, they've got some rhythm in their hands as they're working that out. I can send that same feel down this lead rope to help that horse soften. Now, step 3, if that's not enough, I'm going to go to what I call a draw. And a draw is going to be, here I've got slack in my lead rope. I'm going to take that slack out, and then I'm going to draw that hand to me and draw her in that direction. Okay, again, that draw has to be, I have to take the slack out first, and then I'm going to take my hand and draw it to me and then give back. Okay, if I take a position over here to the side, this will illustrate how this draw really works. I'm going to take the slack out and draw her to me. See how that brought the nose and then the feet followed. Okay, that's step 3, so to speak. Step 4 that a lot of people go to is what I call a jerk. And here's what a jerk looks like. It's similar to the draw. The only difference is I don't take the slack out of my lead rope first. So watch what happens right here as I jerk on this lead rope. Watch this horse's head. You see the slack? Now you don't. And you see what happened to my horse's head. Instantly it came up, her body got tight before the feet ever moved. And what direction did the feet go in? Okay, let's go back to the draw. She says, well, I'm not going to let you get me like that again. I'm going to slide down, take the slack out, draw the nose to me. You see how much more fluid she came with her nose and then the feet followed. Okay, so I've got steady pressure, I've got rhythm in my fingers, I've got a draw, and if I was smart, I'd eliminate the jerk. Okay, so how do I put that to use? Well, what I want everybody to understand in this episode is I'm not necessarily trying to get this horse perfect. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you guys how to hold this lead rope, understand the concept of now that I'm not in my round pen, my horse doesn't have the fence to lean on, so the only thing my horse can lean on is my lead rope. Here I've got steady pressure, here I've got some rhythm, there I've got a draw. Hey, stay tuned folks, we'll be right back.
Riding horses each day is a horse lover's dream.
With all the hauling and training we do each year, we put a lot of stress on our horses. Since adding Forco to our feeding program to help maintain the digestive system, our horses have never looked better, acted better, or performed as well as they do now. Our horsemanship company keeps us out on the road all year long. We can't afford to be broke down along the highway with a trailer load of horses. Nothing keeps our trucks running better and saves us money with less frequent oil changes than BG oil products. Find your nearest BG oil product dealer today so you can enjoy the BG advantage. Our tip for this week's show, as we're talking about building a soft feel on our horse through some online groundwork, has got to be this Kerry Kuhn training halter. The idea behind this halter is to let us make a lateral pull on our horse and position that pull, that pressure, in a spot that's going to help that horse find the fact that we're trying to get him to bend lateral. Now, the cool part about having these rings where they'll slide is if you watch these knots that are specifically placed on each side of his nose there, you watch how as I change position with this and pull on it, those knots don't move at all. So this is a great tool to help make things a little easier for a horse as he's trying to work out that natural resistance he has in his body, get him closer to that soft feel we're looking for. Welcome back to the show. Hey, we're talking about the introduction to a soft feel today through online groundwork. We've come outside the round pen. Segment 1 today of the show, we were trying to help everybody understand that the natural resistance in a horse's body, whatever I do with the nose when my horse's body is stiff, significantly influences the horse's accelerator, his hindquarters. The second segment of the show, we were talking about learning how to hold this lead rope and how important it was, guys, to understand that of the 5 fingers in my hand, this one is the most important to me. Okay, it happens to be the smallest and the weakest one in my hand, but what's it gonna take for me to build feel through the weakest, smallest finger I have through a 1,000-pound animal? It's gonna take feel and it's gonna take timing. Okay, segment 3, we were talking about we have more than one option to pick our horse up. We can use steady pressure, we can use rhythm in our fingers, we can use a draw. I illustrated what a jerk does to our horse and how that might be better off to just be eliminated from our options. So the idea of this concept, guys, if you don't understand what we were just talking about here, it's going to be really hard to move on and expand through your groundwork. Now, if you can be tuned in next week, what we're going to do is we're basically going to take this idea of a soft feel, to the next level. And we're going to talk about the importance of the lope through online groundwork, and we'll demonstrate all the techniques to get it started, how much work it takes to build that soft feel at a lope, and help you guys really have a visual of some key things we can do to get these horses softer on the ground. Thank y'all very much for tuning in this week. I'm Kerry Kuhn. Let's go ride some horses.
Whoa, let's ride some horses, but remember they need a leader to trust and to help them succeed. Oh, let's ride some horses, that look in their eye. So saddle me up and let's go for a ride.
Say goodbye to the folks, Patch. Good boy.